So Tim, you got your ACR system working with the other board now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yes, he said. Let's just say I've had an interesting week of learning about the inner workings of UARTs. And yeah, yeah, I came across Patrick's very aware of this because I've been sending him all my what the hell is going on now? Till I finally got to the bottom of it. Anyway, no, I was testing the new board and I started getting some weird results with dropped characters. Um, and in a very regular pattern. So if I would blast, so I'd set up a little program in my Altair that basically read from one port and pushed it out the other port. So it would read from the two SIO and push it out the SIO or vice versa. Very simple. And what was happening was exactly 1 in 11 characters that went in wasn't coming out the other end when I pushed it out the out the SIO. With the COM 2502 in place as the UART. When I put a slightly more modern IM 6402 in there, doesn't drop anything. So the theory at this point, and I'm going to prove it one way or another. The theory at this point is the older UART under stress takes slightly longer to transmit a character than it does to receive the next one because, of course, everything's unthrottled. There's no handshaking or anything. There's no flow control. So the input stream is hundreds of characters coming in at 9600 baud, and and as each one gets sent back out, it takes slightly longer than it takes for one to be received. So you get to a point where you're still sending a character out when before you've read the next character when another character tries to come in. So it
So
gets
that
slightly out of sync.
so does it have like a buffer of 10 characters or something?
What, the UARTs? No, they don't have a buffer of any characters.
Oh,
If
okay,
if you
yeah.
if you slowed it down to 4800 or something, does it
I,
go away?
well, the biggest thing I've learned so far is that, like I say, you put a slightly more modern UART in there, like the
Yeah.
6402, don't see the problem. The 6402 has a maximum clock speed of 4 megahertz. The 2502 has a max clock speed of 400 kilohertz. So there were some changes happened, and they're different technologies. So there were some changes that happened along the way. So I spent several days before I got to the bottom of that. So that was fun. But at this point, unless Patrick wants to add LEDs, I think the board's ready to. I think the board's ready to go.
LEDs. That sounds like a great
Yeah, I
idea.
know, I know, I know. But anyway, no. Patrick showed me a rendering of the latest version of the board, and it looks pristine. Another thing I uncovered this week was on the 2SIO and the SIO. As you know, the IDC connectors come straight out of the board.
Yeah.
So it turns out that when you plug in the ribbon cable header, especially if it's got the thing on it, it's slightly too long. So you can't put two boards next to each other. Otherwise, the back of the connector pushes into the board in front of it because it sticks out about 50, 60 thousandths too far. So the new version of the board has right angle connectors like a lot of other boards do, so they plug down from the
Top.
top.
Excellent.
And Patrick, you also said about probably doing that on the 2SIO on the next iteration, right?
Yeah, if I do a next iteration, I'll do that. I don't know if I will because I don't sell them very often, but
Right. It's just yeah. But anyway, that was my
When they
week.
when they switch orientation, can you buy like say I literally remove the one that's there and install one from top down? And does it
you
switch the pins is what I'm trying to
no,
figure
I
out.
mean you could, but it would stick up high out of the board.
Right, because
Oh,
the
it's too
right,
too far up.
yeah,
Yeah.
too close to
Yeah.
the edge on the existing 2SIO. So, easy to fix on a new board, not quite so easy to fix on an old board. It's not the end of the world. It's just that at this point, my clone has 6 boards in it. So,
And on my motherboard, I can use the 2SIO the way it is, put the cables on, and they fit just fine. But there must be motherboards that have closer space.
Well, I'm using the standard 9 slot.
Yeah, so they may be closer than like
They're
what I'm
three,
using. So
right.
I
They're
need that.
they're 3/4 of an inch center to center,
Okay.
which is what the S100 standard is. It's
Okay,
3/4
yeah.
of an
Well,
inch.
that's one thing that I was trying to figure out. Why didn't they just make everything an inch apart and give you that extra space?
If you look at the board standard, the actual S100 standard, it's technically specifies nothing should protrude from the board on the front more than 1/2 inch in the standard. And then it says 3/4 inch spacing center to center. So it's like every engineering decision, you say, this should work, and it does or it doesn't.
Right, but that's the original MITS standard. What I'm saying is when they designed the 9 slot, they didn't need to stick to that standard.
No, they didn't, but they followed the actual published S100 standard, which is 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, that's probably why they did need to keep it standard.
Yeah, they yeah, like I said,
because otherwise somebody would say, but this isn't a standard.
right, because
Yeah.
all of your racks,
But
I mean,
the
all of
nine-
your rail systems are designed for 3/4 inch
Yeah, but
spacing.
the 9 slot itself isn't a standard. It's 9
No,
slots.
it's not. No, it's not. But again, the guy who designed it decided to follow the standards, and there's always going to be pluses and minuses to
Yeah.
every decision.
I think to your point, Tim, if you put it in a case, a lot of them, like say you put it into an IMSAI case or an Altair case.
Right.
I mean, the IMSAI has the rails already set at
Right.
a particular distance.
Yep.
So,
In fact, if
Yeah.
you look closely at the 9 slot, eight of them are
Yes.
8 of them are 3/4 of an inch apart, and the front one is an inch farther apart, and that's
Yeah.
specifically to accommodate the offset for an IMSAI style S100 plug-in front panel.
But
it
on the
even
original
says it on the
Altair-
board. Yeah.
Joe,
Go
on
ahead.
the original Altair, all the edge connector, slot bars
Right.
bolted to right onto the edge connector.
Right.
So that was, the standard wasn't a cage because everything bolted right to the edge
Right.
connector. So
But
even if they were an inch apart, they would just all go on.
Right, but the IMSAI, I think IMSAI was the first one to do. They did a 22 slot motherboard. I think theirs
I
is,
think it's like that.
and it's
21,
got a
22,
steel cage around it with the
Yeah.
guides in there. It's really nice.
I just got mine working. That's why I put the shirt on. I finally got the
Oh,
front
there you
panel
go.
acting right.
So
and everything,
it's like every engineering decision. Well, it's you make a decision and you say this based on what I have in front of me, this works. You could say, well, I want to put them 3 inches apart because somebody might want to slap a transformer on here.
Right,
But-
but my point is, if they had the 1 inch and the front one to accommodate MSI things,
Right.
To me, it would have made more sense to have that extra space for extra cooling.
But then you couldn't have as many boards in
That's
it.
true as well.
You
Well,
couldn't.
no, just make the 9 slot longer.
Well, again, remember the
No.
9 slot is a recent product. The standards
no.
are 40 years old, 45
No,
years old.
but the original Altair was only 4 slots.
It was its own beast.
Yeah,
But
but what I'm saying is when you're designing a 9 slot, just make it, what would it be? 2 inches longer. And you could
Right.
get 9 slots an inch apart.
sure.
Wasn't there? Didn't somebody develop a 12 slot, but it had some problem or something like
Yeah.
that? I remember reading
Well,
about
there's
that.
there's 16 slots, 12 slots.
Oh yeah. I mean,
22.
there is my
22
original
slot.
12 slot. Get it back a bit. so you can
Okay,
see
yeah.
it. There's my original 12 slot from like 1982 that I don't use anymore. And they are 3/4 of an inch apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This
pretty
is one rigid. I tell you, this is one rigid case.
Yeah, I like that.
It's
But even that, if it was an inch apart, it probably would still fit inside the Altair case.
yeah.
And
well,
they just weren't that forward thinking.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
the
again,
longest time, this just sat on my desk without a case. And the linear power supply that I drove my system with sat there uncovered next to it for years.
Because you don't have little kids running around.
Oh, that was
I
the heat of the
did,
room,
but-
wasn't it?
Oh, I did. I just, didn't turn it on when they were there.
You do it to heat the room. You want to heat the room with it,
Got that power supply. I'm so glad to see the back of that power supply. That thing's just scare the life out of me. 25 amp linear power supply with, Coke can size capacitors on it that,
Yeah.
you could probably weld with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so that was most of my week. I also went to order another 50 to 34 pin adapter, and the outfit Jurassic Computing in France that I bought them from in the past now charges $60 shipping
Oh.
because the French post office, they come from France, the French post office is changed their rules or something. So I just basically, because they published the schematic, I just copied it and have 10 coming from JLC now.
There you are.
And I think it's costing me less for circuit boards, connectors, for 10 of them than it would just to buy one from France right now. So I may have a few spares if anybody needs one in a couple of weeks.
So Patrick, now that the SIO is done, are you going to make a conversion board for a PIO?
Well, no, well, it's not done. I mean, I still gotta send it off, make them. Now that I added a jumper and changed connector angles and all that stuff, I might get another prototype just to build one before I pay JLC PCB to populate them and have them be wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyways, I have the board with them now, letting them do the parts pick because I can't use their site. I can't ever find a part on their site. So I'm paying it's worth the $10. And I could never figure out if they could actually put a heatsink underneath a regulator and screw it in. So they're checking that, and
That would be nice.
but it's close. I hope to get it off.
They couldn't tell you that in a chat on the order page? Because they have a live chat when you're ordering.
Yeah, it's easier for me than yeah. I just put it. I got to get the whole thing done anyway, so I just put it in the notes. And they said, "We saw your note. We're going to find out." I suppose if they couldn't tell me in the email, they can't tell me in the chat.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, some engineers got to sit down for 20 minutes and think about it.
yeah, and too late now. I mean, I love talking about stuff that happened, a day ago, 2 days ago, 30 years ago. There's just not much we can do about it today.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the boards are working great. I mean, I'm having a horrendous time with programming system 2 and getting it to load successfully off tape, but that's not related to the board. It's related to it just being a difficult thing to get working.
Yeah, but you did get me to start building a new Altair simulator.
Oh yeah.
Because I want one that isn't hacked together around. Basically, every time I work with SimH framework, I just have to hack things because it just doesn't do.
Yeah.
It's designed around the PDP-11 and the VAX.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a PDP-11 or a VAX. And I run into problems like the Altair Z80, and I don't think you can have like 2 SIO cards.
Okay.
I don't know that you can. You might be. I don't know that you can.
What, have 2 SIO cards?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say there's 2 SIO cards in the box.
No, like in the simulator.
Oh, that reminds me, by the way, for those of you that can't wait for Patrick, here, let me paste this. No, God damn it. Let me paste this in chat. For those of you that can't wait for Patrick, this just popped up on eBay today for a ridiculous amount of money.
What is it?
It's a SIO card with the modem bolted on it. It's the full up original.
It's a dual. It has a dual card.
It's the dual card.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
His starting price for the bidding is $390. So I kind of went.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain, yeah, and that nobody's bid on it yet.
Only $10 shipping though. Come on.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's actually pretty cheap from the ones I've seen on.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen one of those on eBay, and that's a very rare beast.
I've seen them pop up, but they're usually like $500 or $600.
Yeah.
Patrick, can you use the Claude in the simulator, or start with Claude in the simulator that it designed for itself for testing, and go from there for your next generation
No,
simulator?
no, I'm just having Claude make me a whole new simulator.
Okay. Okay. Didn't know if you'd use
Yeah.
that as a starting point, because Claude already kind of built one for itself. I
No,
saw you.
no, not because the first one was kind of built for Claude, not built for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gotcha.
then
Okay.
yeah, and then and I'm waiting for some other stuff from the SimH guy, and I've been waiting like a month. It's just
No, it
it,
makes sense. Go for
I
it.
just want like an Altair simulator. I don't want to worry about if
Yeah.
we need to change that, it's going to impact the PDP 11. It's just
Oh, you're
Yeah.
not getting an answer from Udo Monk? Is that who you're trying to get?
no. Udo's it's a whole different thing that I don't want to even mess with either. I don't like just me personally. I don't like the way the whole Z80 pack goes together, and I don't like the way it works.
I mean, it
Well,
sounds like from what you're saying, it sounds like it's basically a Z80 being emulated by a PDP-11 being emulated by software.
Yeah, well, like so, the SimH is like a framework. It's
Yeah.
to design simulators,
Right.
but they designed the framework around the PDP-11 and the VAT.
Yeah.
So when I bring stuff up, it's like I need to like, what do you mean you can just have 3 different serial boards in your card? The PDP-11 has this card and that card. So anyways, and just
Yeah.
Well,
just
when you get to a point, you need when you get to the point where you need testers, and I'm sure we'll all hop on and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, well, I'll be
play
there
around with it.
one of
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
We're still constructing it because, like I said, Claude needs a lot of hand holding.
So you're actually building a new framework to specifically to support Altair as the model.
Yeah, so basically the S100 bus is the framework.
I understand.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
not like this agnostic thing that we can
Right.
make, asteroids using
Yes.
like, it's
Understood.
not like MAME or
Awesome.
something like that. It's just I just want to have something that's geared towards doing S100 stuff.
And you're going to build peripherals into fake peripherals like cassette and floppy and tape.
Yeah, like right now I'm having them do the 2SIO, the SIO, the ACR, the Tarbell, and the Altair disk controller.
Okay.
And we're coming up with things come up, and it's like, well, what if we did it that way?
Right.
Also, and then then Claude is building I can't remember, it's an MCP, I think. The MCP interface is how like a lot of these AIs talk to programs. So he's built in an MCP interface into it instead of hacking what I had to do with.
Are you going to build a front panel as well so that we can have it?
I thought no. I don't want it to be that. I'm really building it I'm really building it for me.
Yeah, I understand.
To develop software.
Okay, so front panel's not much use there.
I don't want to experiment. I just want to type reset, not click a reset button. And I mean, the front panel gets you nothing other than it looks cool.
The one thing the front panel gives you that you don't have easily is stop, single step.
No, I have all
examine. So if you have all the basic, I mean, you don't need to be able to load programs. For nobody wants to load programs from a simulated front panel, but being able to stop and reset, obviously, but stop is useful. Examine is useful when you've loaded a program and you want to start it, but you want to check something first. So as long as you got that functionality.
Oh yeah, you can do stop, reset, examine.
Right.
I mean, it's got a whole. You can say, hey, your first in 10 instruction, stop.
Yeah.
I mean, the breakpoints will have you can break on just about anything.
Oh, cool.
Rather than like an address or
right. Okay.
Say, hey, when you hit this, and I don't know how I'm getting to that, and I don't like.
Yeah.
As soon as you output a character, I want to see it.
Right.
And it'll have, and I think we're adding like and then I want to retrace how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all kinds. You just can't do that stuff on a.
Right.
But what really got me into this was the interrupt thing. The interrupts on the Altair simulators are just so hokey. So
the interrupts on the real thing are kind of hokey.
So the first thing I'm going to do is get this darn basic loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean,
figure out like does it even run?
yeah, I mean, but the thing I discovered in digging this week about how the pint works
Hmm.
and how the pint relies on the fact that nobody's driving the bus, so the pull-ups on the bus mean
Yep.
the CPU reads um, FF,
FF.
which is RST7, so it goes to the RST to the number 7 interrupt vector, and
Yep.
that relies basically on an electrical anomaly, for want of a better term. Just the
That's
fact that
that.
this floating bus is pulled up. And I
You
thought,
can
when I
you
read
can
that, I thought, they must have discovered that by accident. Nobody did that on purpose.
you can tell your Altair's doing that, and for the front panel,
Yeah.
you know what the lights look like.
Yeah.
It's reading an FF, and then it's doing an RST8, and then it's doing an FF, and then an RST8, and then it's hitting FF. You can just tell. Like I don't have RAM where they're supposed to be RAM.
Right. But it was just, yeah. Yeah, when I finally figured out, oh, and I did figure out, I'm sure you already know this, that reset turns off interrupts in the 8080. So it does the equivalent of a DI.
Oh, does it? I didn't know
Right.
that.
So in the hardware, when you send a reset, it automatically does the equivalent of a DI so that you always start up with interrupts off.
With interrupts
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
I'll have to make sure that's in the simulator.
Yeah,
'Cause
because I
don't know
was
that
trying to figure that out. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. Is what I'm doing, are the interrupts being enabled by something and they're causing problems when I try and load this thing?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so I went digging.
I just had to explain to Claude. It's like, no, the reset isn't wired into the 6850 on the 2SIO. So when we reset it, don't clear out all the registers.
Right. Yeah, there's some subtleties in there that
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I've been learning a lot of that this week, and as you know, as you've been able to tell from my emails, it took me a while to dig through the full starts. But it's been awesome, by the way. Not frustrating, but awesome.
Well,
Other
the only
than
thing,
the only real frustration,
uh-huh.
300 baud cassette.
That's
Oh.
true.
Yeah, I've got to talk to Mike about the 1200 baud mod. Because also I got one of these, and let's see if it works. With because this cool little gizmo here, he said, holding it up.
Uh-huh.
It's actually built for ZX Spectrums, and it plays tap files. So you put a tap file on an SD card, and then it's out only. It's no in, and it's got an audio jack there.
Oh.
You power it off USB, and then you've got controls on the front, and you can select which file and just hit play. But the slowest it'll go is 1200 baud.
Put the link in the chat.
That's cool.
And there's a
That's a
bunch
good
of them
idea.
out there. There's a bunch. I just found this one on. I can't remember where I found this one. It wasn't on Tindy because I'm not buying off Tindy right now.
I mean, when you just think about the number of people on the planet, like how many people want something that converts data on an SD card to cassette?
Right. So you literally put
There's got to be a lot of people doing this.
you literally put the .tap files on here on the card, and then you just got a menu. You can scroll up and down and say play this one.
That is really
That
neat.
is cool.
Tim,
But being for a Z80 Spectrum, it only runs down to 1200 baud.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure if it reuses the right tones, but it's an open source project. So if it works,
Well, there you go.
we could tweak it. It runs
Sure.
off a Nano, I think.
Okay.
What
Tim,
was the
put a
difference?
link in the chat.
I will try and find it. It's been a while since.
Let's see. There was the Kansas City
Yeah,
standard, and then there was the Cuts. Cuts was the other one that did 1200, didn't it?
yeah.
Something about Cuts
Anyway.
and UTX.
Yeah, CUTS is the processor technology.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah,
was designed originally for ZX Spectrums.
Digital
Yeah,
group.
so-
Digital
Ken-
group. had a-
Kansas City standard came after the first MITS
Did I
standard.
say Kentucky?
MITS came out with one thing, and then later came out Kansas City.
Okay.
And like I said, Digital Group had a really good one.
Right.
It worked really well.
Okay. So here's the Tindy link to it, but I don't think I didn't buy it from. from Tindy, but at least and there is, it's an open source project. This is just, one guy's commercial version of it. It's an open source project. Um, so it's a little Arduino Nano, I think, with a little display. It's really cool, but it shouldn't be that hard to convert that so it would work at 300 baud, in the Altair way. I mean, I don't know enough about Arduino programming, but the fact it's open source means it's just go in and hack until it works. So,
That is cool.
and it's, it can't record. The current designs play only. So you can't like save a program back. But
That's
So
interesting. That'd be a fun
is
project.
is it possible to to send a file out the serial port and make it a tap file on your PC?
I guess, but if you go to Mike's site, he's got pretty much everything you could ever ask for already in tap files.
Yeah, but
In
not new
fact,
programs.
right, but well, it turns out, yeah, you probably could. I just haven't gone there yet because it turns out, and Mike was explaining this last week, that, for example, when you do a C save in BASIC, it sends out some weird memory dump, which is why if you save a program from one version of BASIC, you can't load it into another version of BASIC, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I think that's like the first few bytes identifies the basic on
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna say I got to reach out to Mike to get the 1200 baud conversion for his little modem card. But at this point, now that we've got this $390 original ACR, we know that we can get under that with one of Patrick's new boards and the board from Mike. It's less than $390.
Hey Tim, I got a question for you. So when I was looking at that programming package,
Yeah,
the README said you can use the same like what basic 4K 3.1
yeah,
loader or something,
right.
but that was using IO port 0. Is this the way this works? It's a cassette on
No,
6?
6 and 7, 6 and 7. So
Yeah,
you've got to hunt around to find the right one. So what I
okay.
did was I went around, I found the listing. Um, I found the listing in the back of the manual,
Okay.
right?
Wow, you're digging.
No, in the back of the manual, it has a listing for loading it from the front panel in Octal. You're gonna love this. So I found that. I took a picture of it with my phone and did the text capture, right? I pasted that into Claude and said the first column is addresses, the second column is data in Octal. Can you turn that into an Intel hex file for me? And it spat that out, and that's what I've been loading.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I mean, I could have done that by hand, but it's like I don't want to calculate the CRC numbers on the end of the.
No.
I just said, Claude, here's the Octal, make me a hex file. And I've been doing that with everything now. Whenever I have Claude assemble something for me and write a program, I say, send me the ASM listing and a Intel hex file, and it assembles it, and I just go try it. I don't have to run it through anything. It's made life a lot simpler.
I put an XLS thing on the chat.
Yeah.
That shows you almost all the boards from the 1970s and
Oh, wow.
what ports they used in the computers and stuff. Shows you all the port addresses and which boards used them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was all the
Well,
common stuff back then.
Claude just booted CPM on the new simulator.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
We're making really good progress.
Yeah.
Get a new simulator while you're eating dinner.
There you go. Load extended basic at 300 baud, you could have a 3-course dinner.
So he first asked me, it's like, so when we're loading from cassette, do you want it to actually run at 300 baud? I'm like, absolutely not. I said, make it an option for people that just want to experience that.
Oh.
But no, run as fast as you can get it.
Yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to tinker with Claude is getting it to operate over the USB serial connection and run my Altair directly.
That sounds fun.
I know it can be done because the Shadowtron stuff with him you do on his EMSAI, that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally he went a step further. If you watch that whole video, he basically said, I got it to connect. I figured out a way to get, Claude to be able to talk to the IMSAI directly, and I fed it all the manuals, and I had it go and learn CPM.
I was asking Claude about on a different project. I was asking him. I need to quit using that. I
I
asked
can't help
Claude
myself.
about like doing like real time stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I guess it's hard to do that like if he doesn't get like a carriage return and a text line
Right.
and type of thing. There's a my son and I are kind of into. We used to be into radio. We used to have like a low power FM station and
Hmm.
stuff that we ran, and anyways, there's like 4 radio stations that you can listen to on the internet where they basically said, "Hey, you got $35, run a radio station and make money." And that's like all they told it, and they ran all these different agents, and it's really funny what some of them did, and what they're doing now, and things. But anyways, that's just a tangent.
So,
The-
I did a bunch of testing with Jeff on his Whopper system, and we were doing it with a Zoom connection. And so you can hear the Whopper talking to Jeff, which is actually talking about what's going on. So that got me, since I had a DigiTalker chip and my stash, I got the main chip and the ROM chip. So I decided I ordered some DigiTalker boards from JLC PCB. So I'm going to build my own DigiTalker to, talk like that does. And that,
Oh,
but I'm getting 5 boards. So I was thinking what would be neat is, since there's 2 types of DigiTalkers, the one that goes on a serial port and the other setup uses Wi-Fi. And so I was thinking, if anybody wants one of the boards, I'll pay half the price for another 54104 chip, plus ship you a board and trade. If because you got to buy the chip, you need the chip for the board. And they're about $50 for the chip. So I pay half the price of the chip and trade for a board.
Okay.
Nobody's jumping on that.
Yeah.
No, it's an easy build. It's not a.
yeah.
And the weird thing is, it costs about the same to build one today with the high priced chips on eBay
Hmm.
as it did when Jameco was making them and selling them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. There we go. There's.
But when I was listening to Jeff's, it sounded really neat having that thing talking as text was coming in.
Hmm.
Hey, Mike.
Hey guys.
We're trying to decide how much you can eat while waiting for extended basic to load at 300 baud.
Oh no, extended at 300 is insane.
I was saying, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you about 1200 baud. I'm spending way too much of my life watching the tape counter.
Yeah, 2400 should be fine, even.
Yeah. Well, I also want to try it with this thing here.
What is that?
It's actually designed for a ZX, the thing. It's a TZX Duino. It plays tap files,
Oh, okay.
but it doesn't go lower than 1200 baud.
Well, yeah, no. So you have to go watch that video. It's not
Yeah.
FSK.
Right.
It
Anyway.
does it like it does in the it's
Yeah.
biphase, I guess, more than it is FSK.
So anyway, it's all open source, this stuff. So all of the code is out there. So my thought was, speed it up a little bit and then maybe see if I can modify it to work and play tap files to Altair.
Yeah.
Because it could be just it's really nice when you're loading 4 or 5 things in a row. If I ever get to loading 4 or 5 things in a row. PS2 is kicking my ass right now.
Well, yeah, I think I made some notes. PS2 isn't happy past 1200, isn't that? Did you read my note?
I haven't read all of them yet. I'm still trying to get PS2 with interrupts loaded successfully because something's going wrong. I think the second stage loader keeps going weird on me.
So yeah, you can load the monitor just like you would basic at full.
Right.
I mean, it'll work at 9600 if you just hook
Right.
up to a serial port. But what you'll find is that when you then use the monitor to load the assembler or the editor, it can't keep up past like 1200, I think my notes were.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy right now if I could get a successful load of the monitor with interrupt.
Maybe just tried it through a serial port just to make sure everything.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it from tape. I'm doing it. Yeah, no, I'm doing it from tape right now.
But I mean,
The
you tried
old-fashioned-
it from a serial port and it all works. So now you're just trying to do it from tape instead.
No, I've only done it from tape so far. I haven't tried it from a serial port directly yet.
Yeah, do that just to be as a sanity check.
Yeah.
And maybe do that at, 4800 or something sane. And then you'll know you got everything set right. And yeah, my copy is good.
Right. So yeah, I'll have to tinker with that. I think, yeah. Basically, if I hook up so if I hook up a serial connection in place of the modem into this other, the other SIO, because I actually have 2 SIO cards now in my system.
Well, it depends. I mean, Patrick's card can run at 6 and 7, right?
Yeah, I've got
Serial port?
Yeah, I've got one running at 6 and 7, one running at 0 and 1. So I've got console. I mean, going old school here.
Right, but of course the PS2 can load through 0 and 1 or 2 SIO anyway. Yeah.
But I've and it's weird. I can successfully load extended basic, every time, load programs I've saved in basic, and yet PS2 is driving me nuts. It keeps failing, and I think the second stage loader, the piece that comes on first, is acting up. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, that part's been frustrating this week. I've spent a lot of time.
Well, I mean,
watching
it
tape
has to
counters.
use the 3.2 settings, right?
Right. Well, I've had it load successfully once out of about 20 attempts. So there's something subtle. Either the tape I've got's bad or what, I don't know yet. So a good idea. I'll push it over the serial port directly, and I'll try that. That would be easy to do.
Looking for some of those comments for that because that is a pain in the neck.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wanted to test the new SIO board interrupt system with PS2 because that's one thing that uses it. And that's where I'm stuck at this point. But anyway. Then what else did you miss? Oh, you missed me lamenting the poor performance of the 2502.
What's it doing to you?
Well, no, I discovered that the 2502, when I put it in the SIO board, if I try and drive it at 9600, going in through the SIO and out of the to SIO and out through the SIO, or just echoing or whatever, it drops exactly 1 in 11 characters.
Yeah, that's just because the clocks aren't identical.
Well, no, even if I use your echo program.
Yeah, if you hand type.
No, even if I use your echo program, which basically
hand type or dump a file.
Dump a file. So if I dump a file, so I get a sustained feed.
Right, that's because the clocks are not in sync.
But so there's COM25.
You're getting overrun because the clocks aren't in sync.
But if I put the IM6402 in there, works fine. Because it's a faster chip.
I mean, if you hand type, it probably never has an error, right?
No. It's only if you say send file and it just blasts it.
Right. What about the opposite direction?
Nothing. No, the opposite direction's fine.
That's what I mean. So yeah, it's slightly slower.
Yeah. But like I said, I put the IM6402
Yeah, but you don't know what its crystal is.
Yeah. Well, the same, I mean, just chip replacement.
Oh, gotcha.
It's the one.
I mean, you're just on the hairy edge of that then. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun getting to the bottom of that and what's going on internally and what we think's going on internally anyway. But
Yeah, I think you'll find that's just purely a beat frequency of it getting behind.
yeah.
I mean, if you made a minor software buffer, you'd be fine.
Yeah. Oh, we tried buffering it and the losses still happened, but later on. And that because I'm, sending it like thousands of characters, so I really
Right, I was going to
saturated it.
say that the buffering will depend on how big the file is
Right.
before it adds
The
up.
files are intentionally big enough to saturate so that I can stress test and find out what's going on. I mean, yeah, this is not something you would do in practice.
So what I
This is
would do
finding
is
the limits.
handshake with the
Right.
back to the host with the two
Oh,
SIO so
oh
that
yeah,
you
yeah. I could
never
do.
overrun the
Right.
2502.
Yeah. 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 The goal wasn't to, the goal was to understand how it works when it's pushed rather than to make it work in that situation because I don't think it would need to.
Right. Not you're basically just overrunning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What we think's happening is it takes slightly longer for the 2502 to send a character than it does to receive one internally. In other
yeah,
words, there's a little bit of a delay in the transmission. And so what happens is that a new character's coming in, the old character's going out. With each character that's processed, you get a little more behind. And after 10 characters, you've got enough behind that another character arrives before you read the one that's waiting for you, so you lose it.
right.
And then it recycles because it's exactly 1 in 11 that it misses. And it's repeatable, whatever you send through it. It's quite interesting to play with. But then, like I said, put the
And I've run into that in
6402
numerous situations, which is why I ended up having to write a routine that basically buffered in the middle, even though you're going at the same baud rate.
right. But then,
So
like I say, when I put the
if you
6402
set
in,
the receive side to 48 and the transmit side to 96, you'd probably be okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like I said, it was just understanding because initially I thought there was something wrong with the board and it was dropping characters or whatever. And after a week
Now,
of,
another thing that's interesting about that whole family, those have some sort of state machine in them, and I've had a lot of those that have failed. Um, and what you'll find is they fail in a mostly working condition. Just oddball things go on.
yeah,
And so, like, I don't know whether there's an internal sort of state machine code, sort of like a microcode in
hmm
there that sequences it through its steps, sort of like I mean, that's how you're
hmm
drawing a blank. What's the disk controller? 1711,
yeah,
1771, 1793s. Those are just a big state machine. Technically, it's kind of running code if you think about it. But yeah, even though your
yeah,
disk byte window might have been 48 microseconds or 32
right,
microseconds, let's say for a 8-inch disk, your window was only 27 on receive and 23 on send or something, vice versa. So even though, yeah, I'm doing this
yeah,
fast enough, but you can still end up not meeting the spec of the chip.
yeah,
Even though you technically aren't overrunning it, you're hitting an
right,
area where it can't accept it. And that kind of same thing is happening here with one version
yeah,
of the 2502 had a more efficient microcode, so to speak, than the 2502 did. I mean, whatever one you mentioned was more efficient than the
yeah,
2502.
yeah.
So it hits that window of being so close. Although I would think the other one would eventually do it too.
It probably would, but
Yeah.
one of the differences is interesting when you look at the specs between the two UARTs is the 6402, the newer one, its maximum clock speed is 4 megahertz, whereas the 2502's maximum clock speed is only 400 kilohertz.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
big
got
difference
better,
across. Yeah.
it's different internally, and yeah, it was like I said, it was not about making it work. It was about trying to figure out why I was seeing this weird thing happening. The hardware is always more fun to play with than the software.
We're getting storms here. I need to make sure all my vintage computer power scripts are off.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Actually drug out the K Pro there in the back. My K Pro
Oh, yeah.
10.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my dad's.
Cool.
Nice.
Somebody had a VI editor called QE that they asked how Patrick's compared to that. I said, I don't know, never tried QE. And the guy who wrote CPM-ish, he did a 9-hour video where he showed himself creating his VI editor.
I remember that one, yes.
Yeah. And So yeah, there's not a .com file created.
Yeah.
And of course, VI doesn't use ANSI standards, but I can't, my computer works still, but I can't, the image file of the disk image isn't KPRO. Well, let's put it this way. It is KPRO according to the disk def he uses, like you'd use for
Right.
CPU tools, you know? And it's the same one I've seen out there before, but it can't read his disk, so I can't extract anything from it. But
Yeah.
anyway, it won't be as good as Patrick's anyway. Patrick's and Claude's.
Yeah. Well, Patrick's not limiting himself to 9 hours either. I bet Patrick's got more than 9 hours into VI already.
Hey, Mike, I got a quick question for you that maybe you know off the top of your head. Does the Tarbell single density controller use Phantom or status disable? Do you remember?
It's disabled.
So how does that work? So does that work with the 56K Flex?
That should work with any board.
With any board?
Yeah. Because those are original bus signals.
Those are original
bus. It takes
bus.
over. So the signals that come off the processor,
right,
and then get latched during P-Sync, like S input, S output.
Right.
Right. It drives all those.
So it only does a status disable when there's a read happening, I'm guessing. When it's reading from the, when it's reading from the PROM.
Right. It blocks. I'm drawing.
How does that work?
MRead. It blocks MRead.
Okay.
Going onto the bus.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, it allows the CPU to go through its cycles, but his board is generating the S input, S out, P read, P write, that stuff.
That's what I'm seeing on the schematic.
Yeah.
Okay. He actually
That's how Martin's board does it as well. So Martin's board is 2SIOJP. You can do it that way or with Phantom.
It puts all those signals on the bus instead of the CPU.
Right. The CPU has a status disable, it turns them on. So that was the whole intent of doing that. That's why
Gotcha.
Ed Roberts put that in there. But then they turned around and made their turnkey board and just said, you know what, that's too complicated. Forget all of that. We'll just overpower the MRead line with 6 inverters in parallel and swamp it. So because you have to drive MRead high, so it's easier to force that low than it is to force it high. So yeah, they just swamped it low with 6 parallel gates, and then later they did it with a transistor, I think, or vice versa. But yeah, George Tarbell, whatever the guy's name is, he did it the right way. Although, yeah, you've probably noticed it's kind of finicky sometimes. That's why there was quite often a separate ROM for it. I have a separate ROM for it in my system. I just boot with a boot ROM instead of the one on the board.
Yeah. Patrick's writing us a new simulator from scratch. That's why he's asking these questions.
He and Claude?
He and Claude. And he's muted right now because Claude doesn't want him to tell us the truth.
Yeah, somebody just posted a new one they did using Claude.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I didn't look at it in detail, but
they Claude's like, hey, you told me that the Tarbell controller has Phantom on it and just do it this way and that, and it doesn't. It's like
Claude told you that?
Yeah, it's like you're right.
Well, that's impressive. How did it figure that out?
It's by reading the manual.
It reads manuals very quickly.
Huh.
If it can find the manual online and it can get it into text format because the scan is good
I
enough.
could see that it could say there's no mention of Phantom. Did it say how it thinks it does it?
Yeah, status disable.
Impressive. Although it does describe how the boot works. There's a theory of operation section, so.
Yeah.
Which I guess I should have read before I had Claude read it.
Why? That's what he's for.
Why?
Well, because I led him down this
executive
tangent on Phantom and how to make the memory board work.
Yeah.
Just
Believe
give
me,
the
Claude has
executive
corrected
summary.
me Claude has corrected me multiple times this week.
I think this is like number 2.
Well, last time I
usually
knew
he's
I was
wrong.
having to correct AI. If it's around to correcting me now, that's going to be a nice change.
I mean, he's not always right. The best part with the stuff I was playing with this week was he wrote bug reports that I then sent to Patrick.
What did you have Claude doing?
I was working on this whole drop character thing and trying to figure out what was going on, having him writing test programs so I could test various different things to try and zero in on why we were dropping characters. And so every time we thought we'd got it figured out, I would have him write a bug report and I'd send it to Patrick. Here's what's wrong with the board. Here's what Claude thinks is wrong with the board.
What did Claude think?
Well, Claude was all over the place, but eventually Claude figured out for me that it was the internal workings of the 2502 and the fact that it takes slightly longer to transmit a character than it does to receive one, so they get out of sync over time when it's doing both.
And even if it was identical, it would get out of sync if your transmitter computer is faster than your receiver.
It's the same computer with this basic, yeah.
But it's 2 different boards, right?
Right.
2 different boards with 2 different crystals. So no matter
No,
what,
no. I did it with in and out of the SIO
with the same crystal?
with the same crystal, and I still see the character drops.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So that would be the difference between the 2 parts, or yeah, like what you're describing.
Right. It's
Yeah, that
literally
changes everything if it's the same
it's
crystal.
the same UART, same crystal. It's not even too. It's going. I used your Echo program for testing,
Right.
and it drops 1 in 11 characters exactly. So the theory is, like I said, that the 2502 takes slightly longer.
So the Echo program doesn't verify whether it's ready to transmit, does it?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does?
It checks the
Or
transmit.
just receive and then automatically dumps it?
It checks the receive before receiving and the transmit before transmitting.
Oh, I didn't think it checked the transmit.
It does check. But anyway, that's yeah. Everything we've thrown at it, it does exactly the same thing. We finally identified the 1 in 11. And like I say, the theory is the output mechanism in the 2502 takes slightly longer than the receive. So they slowly get out of sync. And when they get completely out of sync, you lose an inbound character.
Yeah.
And then they come back in sync again. Yeah. Claude and I had long discussions about it and what it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And he
think
goes up
most of them receive stops halfway through the stop bit,
Right.
and transmit probably has to go all the way through the stop bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
That's
said,
probably
it's
that half bit. Well, that's your 11 characters right there, isn't it?
right. But like I said, when I put in the 6402, the more modern UART, it went away because it's faster internally.
Yeah.
So it could somehow just keep up. It was yeah, a fun week of going down a rabbit hole that I didn't need to go down.
Yeah.
But as I said to Patrick, that's half the fun in this hobby is, is just going down and learning these things.
Well, no, you learn a lot doing that in those rabbit holes
Oh,
sometimes.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anyway, enough of my problems. What's everybody else done this week?
Hey, Walt, I'll take you up on one of the DigiTalkers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the problem is it cost me $65 for DHL. So I'm just trying to recoup some of the shipping costs.
Yeah, I'll do one of the DigiTalkers. That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard Jeff's going on the Zoom, I mean, it just sounded really neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does it have voices that you can load into it?
Well, it has a ROM chip with all the, words and stuff. I think there's like 5 or 6 ROMs,
Okay.
but I haven't found all the ROMs yet. But I have 2 ROMs. One is the basic one that came with the chip or with the kits, and the other one is one from a company, and you have to have a special board to be able to plug it on to the DigiTalker board because I guess pins are in a different position. And I thought I was going to be able to just read that ROM with, like the other one, but I guess I got to make that make that adapter board before I can even plug it into the TL866 to read it.
Right. Okay. Because once you've read it, you can write it to anything. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to find all the ROMs, and I'm I figure once I get the thing built, then I can bug Jeff for copies of whatever ROMs he has.
Cool.
Well, my fun this week is I found a little memory chip that uses SPI, so I could test out the SPI port that I added to the FPGA single board computer. So I found it, and I think it was Tuesday night, and I put it down somewhere. So the next day I could take it off the board that it was on and put it on a little breadboard. And I spent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and yesterday trying to find it. It's an 8-pin DIP, and I had it in my hands Tuesday, and it has disappeared. And I'm getting so freaking tired of not finding anything.
For me, the aggravation is I'm in the garage, detached garage, and you drop a little screw,
Oh
and you hear
God.
it hit the mat.
Yeah.
It's just nowhere to be found. You're on your hands and knees looking. Oh my God! You
And
know,
you
first it's-
I solved that problem. I bought this. It's like comes in like a wheel shape, and it's magnetic strips. And yeah, I put them all around where I work. So when the screw drops, it sticks
Oh, there
to
you
the
are.
magnetic strip.
I might have to do that, Wall. I think
Oh,
Harbor Freight
that's
sells the
brilliant.
strips. Harbor Freight has the strips for the screwdrivers, really
Right.
cheap. So
Yeah.
you just lay those. Who knows what else that'll do around? But
Surround you with them.
yeah,
Just don't lay your diskettes down.
yeah, there you are.
I actually even have my table here has a steel frame, and I have magnets on the bottom edge that I can stick stuff to also, so I don't lose it.
So again, don't put your diskettes on your table.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I've got so many projects running right now here that on Wednesday night's call, I created a new saying, and that's I spin the wheel of misfortune to figure out which project I'm going to work on next.
Oh.
Oh God.
Todd, you had a bunch of 8-inch shoe guards and stuff. Did I hear you say you put together a modern power supply for that, or are you still using the old linears?
Yeah, I've got a modern power supply that I'm using for the shoe guards.
Because yeah, I went and jotted down all the specs I needed and was staring at this, and I keep planning on putting it together. Did you put like 2 switchers or 3 switchers or just one that had all of it? What did you do?
I found I needed 2 switchers. I found one of the Meanwells that had the 24 volt, plus 24 and plus 5 volt. Each of them at around 5 amps, I think. So they're sufficient to drive 2 drives.
Yeah.
Then I ended up getting one of the like 15 watt, 5 volt ones that I set up for the -5 supply on that. So I ended up with the two switchers to drive 2 floppy drives.
So it looks like you can drive 2 with 3 amps and 2.5 amps on the 24 and 5, at least the linears
Right.
that I have. So yeah, you
Yep.
got a lot of headroom there. So that's good.
Yep. Yeah, it was
And
less than
I
4
did it.
amps
So
each.
the -5, you just got a little tiny one.
Yeah, like a 15 watt or something
Right.
like that. I can't remember. Yeah. So I looked quite a while and I couldn't find any that had both plus -5 and the plus 24
Right.
in sufficient output.
Yeah, they don't have many options in the triples, do they?
No.
Well,
not
It's
I've
always
seen many
it's
where
always
the-
it's always 2 or 3 that you can find.
Well,
So the
usually it's
24
like
and
plus
5
minus
are
12.
similar amperage. Usually,
What was
like the
that?
5 is really high and the other one's not.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. On this one, Meanwell, I'll have to check it out. I think it's PS 175. I'll kind of see if I can find a link to it and
So
put it in the chat.
So what are the voltages? Is it 5 -5 plus 5 -12 plus 12 and 24 volt?
No,
That-
no 12
Oh,
volt.
12. No 12s,
okay.
just plus 24, plus 5, and minus 5.
Okay, I'm seeing there's something called a WEIR, WEIR HSS 100 that I've seen out there a few times. I don't, I'm looking at an old eBay listing
Mhm.
for it. But it looks like it's hard for me to give any specs on it, but WEIR HSS 100. I don't know if that comes up anywhere in this another search. Not, who knows if it doesn't drive enough amperage or whatever. I honestly can't tell you.
Yeah, I have one more of those linears, but it doesn't work. And to get the linear fixed, you have to desolder the TO3 can at the same time you're unscrewing a screw. I mean, it's just going to be an absolute effing pain in the ass. It's one of those nice Power One power supplies. I have 2 or 3 of them, but I sold one not long ago to David Hansel, and now I realize my other one isn't easily fixable. I figured, it's a big old supply, big old parts, easy to fix. Yeah, it wasn't hard to find the problem, but yeah, it's never meant to be fixed, at least not without you need one of those soldering irons that's got a 2-inch tip and 500 watts to get the thing unsoldered and unscrewed at the same time. So I think I might just put together a couple of these and maybe borrow some of the harnesses from that power supply and be done with it.
So I put a link to the Amazon. It's a Meanwhile RD125B is their supply.
All righty.
That's what I ended up using.
That's interesting. I found a link here. Let me put it in chat. To somebody making their own power supply.
Jeff used to do one that used an ATX power supply, didn't he?
Yep. This one looks like an adapter that bolts onto a Meanwell and generates the additional voltages.
Cool.
Just put it in
it's
chat.
not certainly make your own follow-on board, especially for that -5. It's such a low.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but here's somebody's
less than
right.
an amp.
But
you can do that very easily.
But somebody's published on GitHub their own design, so you just got to print up the bits. I don't know if this is useful, but I like the idea that it runs off a single Meanwell.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So it's a 24 volt. I see how they do a 24 volt, 83 watt Meanwell, and then they use something else to convert for the plus and minus 5 volts plugged into it. So it passes the 24 through and generates the plus and minus 5 out of a single Meanwell.
Single output
Makes
supply.
sense.
Yeah.
It's nice and clean, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's probably more compact.
Yeah, there's pictures of it.
The little 10-watt power supplies are
an
inch and a half by 2 inches.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've got one.
It looks like this one is 10 amps on the 24 volts. So yeah, you've got all sorts of headroom in this power supply. It's cheap.
10 amps? Usually that number, the RS100, is usually the total output power of that. So that's typically would be a 100-watt power supply.
Yeah. This guy, the one he says is, let's see, is board. Okay.
It says 5 volts at 10 amps and 24 volts at 5 amps.
Wait a minute. Output
one
voltages.
or the other.
Now, the one I just posted says 24 volts at 83 watts, which is what, about 3.5 amps.
Yeah.
And then 5 volts at 15 watts minus 5 at 2 watts is what he's pushing through. Anyway, just an interesting approach.
That's about 100 watts.
Yeah, it's about 100 watts total. But yeah, that's an interesting approach and requires only one Meanwell, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Oh, he even used a little Meanwell DC to DC.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, to generate the 2 5-volt signals. Yeah. Anyway, just another option. Another option. It's nice and clean though. Yeah. Yeah, one of these days I should probably replace the linear power supply on my 8-inch drives.
Oh, so he's not even using a 2-output supply. I see. Okay.
Yeah, he's using a single output supply and then generating the 5s off the 24. Because there's a nice clean, option that might be worth taking a look at.
I have RS100s by the score, but they're all 15 volt.
Yeah,
I have those for work.
right. Anyways.
Wonder if he's got any extra boards laying around rather than making my own PCB.
Right.
Although he's got his own weird connectors on there. What are those? Yeah, I'd probably do what Todd did and just give me screw terminals because I've got all the harness from the other power supply with the you got an AC connection and you got the DC connector for 2 drives, and that whole harness exists.
Oh, that's right, because you got to have the 110 as well for the 8-inch floppies. Or a lot of them. Well, it's the older ones that run 110 for the motor, right? The newer ones run 24.
Yeah, 24 for the motor too.
Yeah, my old sugar arts run 110 for the motor. Yeah, the old style. Which I always found a little unnerving.
I have a power supply that I used like that from my bulletin board, and I added a solid state relay, so it turns the motors, the 110 volt motors, on and off.
Oh, okay.
So it turned the motors on whenever somebody called in, and it answered, and then it turned off when there was when it was idle.
Yeah, that's good.
So it doesn't wear your discs out from leaving them spinning the whole time.
Yeah. Plus, it was the noise.
Well,
It was right next to the bedroom, so you could hear it going crazy at all hours.
It didn't hum you to sleep?
No.
No, it's more like shaking you awake than humming you to sleep.
And that bulletin board had three SA800 drives.
Yeah, that would keep you up at night. Okay. Anybody else got anything this week? Oh, it's quiet this week.
Patrick's busy over there thinking of something.
Yeah, Claude's educating him.
I'm reading the tar bill manual.
Oh.
I put up a picture of my power supplies. I think I posted this a while back, but this is the plate. I have a mounting plate that mounts vertically in the back of my and that has power supplies for 6 drives plus the CompuPro 21 slot system. That's what the big linear supply is.
I was going to say, you're still using the linear for one of your S100 systems. Okay.
Yeah, that's a CompuPro.
Those frightened me, those things. I was so glad to put my linear power supply in the electronics recycle and say, go away and don't kill me again.
Yeah. So there's 3 RD125Bs on there. 2 of them drive the my other drive, not the Shugarts. But so they don't need the -5 or the AC. And I just have the one set up there that has the AC power for the Shugarts as well as the -5.
Yeah, looks nice and clean. Too much of my work is do enough to get it up and running. That's as far as I go. But yeah, that looks nice.
You wire wrapped and everything there.
Yeah.
That looks
I
sweet.
try to make it safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my thoughts are I think your implementation of VI in terms of screen and all that's better than WordMaster at this point. So I wouldn't use that. But the one thing you might do is learn or have Claude learn how to use the gap buffer they did whenever the file won't fit in memory. So the question is, could you make it, hey, it works just like it does now if it fits?
Yes.
If it doesn't fit, then use this gap buffer.
Yes.
Or maybe even a command line option if it's actually runs a whole different piece of code, or maybe 2 versions. So you don't have to load a 30K version every time. It's
Yeah, no, well, no, and I think he could add the gap. I think Claude could add the gap buffer with not a lot of effort. We just had to
well,
figure.
but searches are different.
Well, yes, well, searching. Well, like I said, I think it could work the same as long as everything fits in TPA.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, and I do know when we worked on a different gap buffer that was in there, like there was a flag that says this file's too big. Now we got to do this, but then there was a flag that says the file all fits, so we can just do everything fast. And so I don't know.
So if a file gets too big presently while you're editing it, you just hit return and one more time. What is
I
it?
think it puts an error on the screen saying, "Hey, you've maxed out your buffer."
Okay.
You have to pay
Gracefully
your
or-
credit card. Yeah.
I think it's gracefully.
Yeah.
And I don't. I think that there's actually a test for that.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I noticed I could never edit any of my BIOSes in it.
No.
What I was trying to do was find the biggest file I could, and there's a large gap in the middle. You know, I got a lot of 8Ks and 10Ks and
Yeah.
4Ks and 1Ks, and then I've got 50 and 60Ks. You know, I don't have much in between to test a full TPA.
Well, Claude made a really good document on how the word master
Yeah, I
gap
saw
buffer
that.
works.
Yeah.
So I had him. I said, Claude, you're gonna have to like dumb that down even more because I don't understand it. So what you got is probably about revision 8, where it's like, oh, I think I understand it. So it is on my list to
Yeah,
make
so
it.
all I would borrow is maybe some of what it did to put in larger than TPA editing capability into VI.
Yeah, once I understood it, it's like, wow, whoever thought that up is pretty smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, gap buffers have been around a long time, but yeah, it takes some thinking. The other thing is global search and replace at some point. I mean, there's a
Oh, right.
I mean, there's regular expressions and all that crap, but just substitute string for string at the colon.
thought we added that.
Oh, maybe you have. I haven't tried it for a while.
Global, yeah.
I thought there was a global replay.
I mean, at that point, this thing is literally 98% usable for anything that I could do or care about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having
No, I'll work on that gap buffer because, like I said, it's kind of funny. This is really like a more of an experiment with Claude, but then it was like, wow, the VI actually turned out kind of okay. So I should probably finish it.
No, definitely. This is the best one I've run across. So
Yeah.
let's finish it.
Well, thank you, Anthropic.
Yes, our robot overlords are finally showing their face.
Yeah, no, I'll get that finished.
I just don't want it to become a 30K program.
Right.
No, it shouldn't. I don't think it would.
Is it up on your GitHub or is it?
Yeah. So it's on like kind of my Altair 8800 Claude. Eventually, I'll move it out of there and just make it its own separate repository. But yeah, so you can see WordMaster there now and where VI's at, and
Cool.
I forget what else is in there.
I'll have to poke around.
I can put a link in there.
Yeah, I need to work on something that isn't me going down rabbit holes. Well, it'll turn into one, but you know how that works. I'm not capable, I don't think, of walking past a rabbit hole. The engineer in me doesn't know how.
Gosh dang it.
Anyway, okay,
Talking about AI this morning, I don't remember which one. I think it was Gemini. I asked it if it could help me reconfigure EMP245 so that I can type in what serial ports I'm using on a 2SIO board instead of having it dedicated to just one serial port. And it said, and I gave it the source code for EMP plus a copy of the overlay files that I found and stuff. And it said, well, the basic EMP245 was all set up for a 2SIO. So all it did was give me a MBasic program that opens up the EMP245 and types in new port numbers that I ask it to put in there, and then closes the file. I haven't tested it yet, but it said that's what it did. It says that made more sense than rewriting the whole program.
Tony asked me to try to pull together what was on my Flex 64K EEPROM for the processor technology demo that I did with Cutter and ALS8 for you, Walt. And so I asked him what you wanted in the other half, and he thought you wanted Amon.
Yeah, I was, he and I were trying, first I was trying to figure out how to get Amon and the Cutter and ALS8 all on one thing, one chip, and I was getting stuck. And then he said he could help, but then it fails for him too. He can't figure it out, and he was using some other professional EEPROM writer and stuff. But
Well, I made a hex file. Well, I sent him the 3 hex files as they originally are. So Cutter's at C1000, ALS8 is at E1000, and Amon's at F800, and they overlap each other, or Amon and ALS8 overlap each other. So on the Flex 64K board, you're going to have one of them in the lower 4K, and the other one, I mean, the lower, what are we talking, 16K, and the other one in the upper 16K. So you can use the swap halves switch on the board. So you're either running the ALS8 Cutter or you're running Amon.
The Flex 64, it has a 256. I thought it was a bigger.
It's 32K.
Oh, it's 32K.
So that's like 2 16K EEPROMs.
Right.
It keeps in memory. Well, actually, no, you can have all 16K at once. All 32K at once if you wanted. But one way to think of it is it's 2 16K ones. So 16K starts at C1000. So by default, you have nothing but Amon at F800, nothing at all below that. Or you can flip the switch, and now you've got ALS8 up at the top of memory from E1000 to FFFF, and then Cutter at C1000. So you can just swap back and forth between those two.
Right, yeah.
So I sent him a single hex file that is all of those starting at 0 for the EEPROM, to go into anybody's EEPROM programmer.
Yeah.
But then I also included the originals. I have a little utility I wrote that can move in a hex file anywhere you want it. So the original hex files were at C1000 and E1000. You can just tell it, put it at 0 and put it at 2000 in that EEPROM. But again, you don't need to do any of that. You can just do it all on the board like we talked about. If you want, maybe I can just do that on one of these sessions one day.
Yeah. Can you send me a copy of those EEPROMs too?
I think he's going to after he looks at them.
I want to look at them with my TL866.
It might be worth doing a set.
Intel hex files.
It might be worth doing a session, Mike. I've done stuff like that, but it'd be interesting to see how you do it.
The other thing is, what do you start with? So in other words, technically you have nothing in the flex board to begin with, right? So it doesn't have a monitor in it for you to load the programming program.
Yeah.
So one thing you can do is use the front panel and type in a little 16-byte program or key in,
Yeah.
So that's kind of brutal. The other thing is maybe you had an FDC plus, or maybe you have, I don't know, if you have Martin's board, you don't really need to put Amon into this, unless you were going to swap in, say, the board that Tim has been working with instead of a 2SIOJP. But let's say you started with an FDC plus, well, that's got ROM at F800 typically, right? That's where Altmon is. But like Walt, maybe you wanted to use Amon instead. So you can start with Altmon, use Altmon to get the program into memory, and then still turn around and write something at the exact same location that's Amon for later, and never use Altmon off the FDC plus again. That's another way to start it. But yeah, we could just run through Walt's example explicitly, I guess. Either starting with a front panel toggle or just, hey, let's just use Altmon off the FDC plus to get the flex board going.
So you can load the software into the flex board at an address that is currently blocked by the ROM you're running your Altmon from, for example. So if Altmon's sitting at F8, right, E00 is normal, and Amon sits at F000, right?
F8 or F0,
Or
depending on
yeah.
the
Oh,
video.
so you can because I was trying to think with the how you would write to an area you were already
Well,
blocking.
you can swap the proms, swap the halves.
Yeah.
So in other words, you'd write Altmon at B800
Hmm.
instead of F800.
Got it.
And then when you swap it back, it's up at F800. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I get it. Got it.
Yeah.
Because the
Or
ROM
the other
can
thing I've
override.
done is I load the programmer, which runs down at 100 hex.
Hmm.
It uses all the RAM above it needs. Once I've loaded it, then I just flip the ROM enable off on the FDC Plus. So now you don't have to swap halves of the other one because now F800 is empty. There's nothing there anymore.
Right.
Once you've gotten it loaded, you don't need the monitor anymore.
Yeah.
And then you could program Amon in and use that for the rest of the day if you wanted. But yeah, you can sit there with the programming code and write Cutter and then write Amon and then write. One problem is Altmon wants stack space at, where is it?
C800?
1,000 going down. So it needs
C1000.
it needs RAM up at BF100 basically. And that's some of the space you want to program for if you had swapped halves. And so that's one thing, Altmon and that doesn't work well together. So, but you can flip switches on the fly. There's no harm flipping switches to disable Altmon on the fly. And flip your Flex 64 switches as well. But yeah, I mean, if you want, we can go through that and see how you break it up and program different spots in this thing, even with conflicts. Although I haven't done it since I made the board, so I'd have to practice.
To be honest, I actually put a zip socket or zip socket down there, and I've been just burning it with the burner that I'm comfortable with. So I've had, I've done the math there to put things in the way I want. So, I knew the option was there to do it on the board. I know you designed it that way. I just never tried it. So I'd be interested in seeing it.
We'll run through what Walt wants to do.
Yeah, I was messing around doing it, in the board a few times, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" Because then you forget to like flip the switch.
It
Have it
tells you
not right anymore.
to not write anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
It's
why
still
is
writing.
this getting messed up?
You can actually program that from the front panel. You can program
Yeah, it's
from the front
amazing.
panel
It's amazing.
with a deposit switch.
Mm-hmm.
There you
It's
are.
really neat.
That is cool.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Hey, I've got a question. The disk images that we're using with the like the FTC plus SDS or the simulator, are those disk images, my understanding, are just raw binary dumps? And I was just kind of curious, how does the FTC or the SDS just look at the file size to determine what the format is? How does it know what the format of those disk images are?
And SDS, you mean the serial disk server, I assume.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
answer for Patrick. In mine, the first one was just the original Altair format. There was nothing to look for. There was only one format.
Okay.
And then I added the mini disk format, which
Okay.
is again Altair's 5 1/4 inch. And so yeah, it looks to see the size
Size. Okay.
and slight
And
behavioral
so-
difference between the two.
Yeah. So Patrick, then you like for your the 8 meg images, you look at just the file size. Then
I don't look at anything.
You don't
You
have
can-
to, because that looks just like an 8, as long as you don't bound the incoming track number.
Yeah, like I said, I don't even. You can attach a JPEG. You can mount the JPEG,
Okay.
and when the FTC Plus says, give me track
Okay.
6, I'm going to send what's at track 6. I don't even look at the file.
So you expect your users to be intelligent? You're saying.
Yes. Like I
Okay.
won't say, hey, that's not an 8 megabyte image or a 330K image. What's going on here? You can attach
okay.
whatever you want.
So it
you don't
got
really
a little
check.
more complicated when I realized I could use my Altair disk server to serve Southwest Technical 6800 disk and other things that were never meant to do this.
Sure.
Simply by calling, instead of getting a whole track at a time, you're getting a sector at a time. But you just tell the disk server, hey, your sector is 120, your track is 128 bytes long. And instead of having, 77 tracks, you've got 264 tracks. And each track is only 128 bytes long or 256 bytes long. So then the little bar graph would be wrong in the old days. So to make the bar graph of track number right, if it sees it go up big, then it automatically scales it out. But a better
like the ESP32 doesn't have any sort of graphical display for like
Right.
where you are, how big the disk is and that stuff. It just computes the index into the
That's
file.
really all it does, because
Sends
the
the track.
host sends how many bytes per track.
Mm.
And so the difference between the mini disk and the full size disk didn't care, because that comes from the host. So as long as the host is asking for the right size track. But then, like I said, I realized, well, heck, I could ask for a 128 byte track, and suddenly I can do, what was it called? Flex 1.0. And then later it was a 256 byte track. Well, I can do that too.
Yeah, and then we talked about doing the tarbell, but I think we need like the P ready or something that the FTC Plus can do. Having the FTC Plus emulate a tarbell. I think you said you're missing a line or something.
The best I can do is the 3712, the FD 3712, FD 360. That'll give you your IBM 3740 soft sector format.
Right.
But it's not the tarbell. Yeah, the tarbell, my board does not have anything to put the processor in a wait state.
Yeah, okay.
Probably, if I wanted to redesign it, it wouldn't be that hard. It surprised me how simple tarbell circuit was for that. Have you studied that?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's amazingly simple. It surprised me.
Because I assume like the Versa Floppy 2, I think, does probably the same thing. I don't know if it's the same type of circuit, but I think it waits the processor. All right. I figure the universal floppy disk controller will come out after your universal serial card.
I've almost convinced myself we don't need a universal serial because we've got them all.
Oh, well, now we need a universal floppy.
That's it.
That's called what are the HSC units called? The
GoTech.
GoTechs, yeah.
That's it.
Now, I'm always going to use real floppies as long as I can, but no, I mean, Tarbell did everything on that right, because a lot of them you hit the wait register and then you wake up, then you have to go get the status to see what to do, which on a 2 megahertz processor, that's precious time, right? You're barely making it. Whereas on the Tarbell, you did an in, which does the wait. And when it comes back, the value it retrieved includes the status you need to check in the sign bit. So I guess you still have to do a test, an OR-A. I was thinking you could branch immediately, but not on an 8080. But anyway, it's as efficient as you could possibly do it. So yeah, Tarbell was pretty good at that stuff, especially as early as he did that.
It's a great controller.
Well, it's an insanely complex number of jumpers. But
Right.
that's because nothing was standardized yet. I mean, most anyone you find was going to be configured for a Shugart, but it didn't have to be by any means.
I used to love Tarbell controllers. I had them in all three of my S100 machines. I've got a couple double-sided, double-density Tarbell controllers that I couldn't get working for anything. So they're still sitting in a box somewhere.
Well, I've got one that I got to get working. Patrick's gotten one working, right? Or was it somebody else's?
No, mine's working. Well, no, I had somebody else's. I sent it back. But I sent him diskettes.
Mine's been sitting out here to work on for about a year. I need to actually do it one day.
Yeah, I keep watching eBay. I think if I see one on eBay that I like, I might buy it because I just want to have one. But I did finally get double density working too once I figured out how to jumper the Z80 board.
Mine tries to work, but I get read errors even in single density.
So
I need to go. I mean, it moves the head and all that stuff. I just need to go figure out.
Mine's on the wheel of misfortune. Haven't gotten to it yet. Again,
Now, all my boards are put away. This is one that's been out. Like that's next, but it's been out for a year. I might as well put it back away.
Yeah, that's one way to find time to do it. Put it away where you can't find it.
Yeah. No, but on that universal serial, as much fun as I'd like, it'd be fun to make it. But you know, the first things you do with it, we have all those boards Altair wise, right? You got the 2SIO, you got the SIO, you got the cassette. It'd be useful for doing what people do with the solid state music IO4 board. It could do that kind of thing. So basically your 8251 is the other one. It could replace a few of those, you know, the SIO from IMSAI, it could do that, you know. But anyway.
Except you can buy those, right? You can buy those now as well. Because was it Parastream, whatever it is, or Paras that do all the IMSAI replica?
Yeah.
They sell all the boards now as kits. A little expensive, but all the boards.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I did that disk controller for the Altair just to prove it could be done just for the hell of it. I mean, that was a one of, and that was the only board I haven't sold to anybody else because what's the point? You know, it's completely custom and not needed. I just wanted to prove I could have done it back then. Well, I don't know that I could have done it back then, but with the equip or the materials from back then, the parts from back then.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just fun to do, but unfortunately, yeah, I just can't come up with the time. There's too much of pain work to do.
So Chad, I see you posted there. You can speak up. You know, I see you're muted, but if you want to jump in, just hop in. We keep talking. We'll talk over you if you don't really speak up.
We'll talk over you anyway. Yeah.
No, I'm just listening. That's all.
He doesn't show on my screen. How come I can't see him?
Are you from Minnesota?
So yeah, just checking out listening to you guys talk about some serious stuff. I mean, this is like big time stuff. So it's interesting to listen to. It's kind of a new hobby for me. So I'm kind of just got interested in the myths, and then so I have a lot of stuff. I was collecting for a while, and then I'm 55, so I was like getting prepared for my retirement to do this stuff. So. Yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
Chad, send me your email so I can put you on the list.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll be around for a while. 55, I'm close to retirement. I spent 30 some years in the government. So
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So and I think I ran into sounds like Patrick online. I was interested in the FDC card. And I have quite a few machines. So, but you guys are like above me, but it's good to listen to you guys.
No, this is
open
to anybody.
Yeah,
we fake it really well.
If you look at my website, you'll see I'm not even nearly above any of these guys.
No, all these guys got me beat too. I tinker and stuff, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty new at I've soldered things before, but I'm pretty new at all this stuff, and so just kind of like learning and trying to figure it out. And it's going to be my retirement thing. I've got quite a lot of machines that you probably wouldn't even think about it. Yeah, I mean it's just a lot. I mean, but will I do the work on them? And that's what I kind of wanted to do on a couple of them that don't work. Most of my Altairs, they work, but learned how to use them, really. That's what I really want to do, and build some stuff like you guys do. So that's the future.
So you saw Mike on here earlier. He has his site is dramp.com. Lots of great videos. He amazing. I never when he first showed up in the meeting here, I never put a face to I heard his voice and also his face like that's the face because you never see him in any of the videos.
You're right. Yeah, I was checking out. I've checked out that site like thousands of times, and I bought a second hand because I was late to the party, so I bought a second hand. it's an Altair clone, but then I found out from Patrick that you can't turn it into an S100 because you need to have the, you know, the front panel and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff I've got to learn as far as those type of things, but kind of wanted to, you know, turn it into an 8800C, but then I have to do a lot of work. So, but that'd be like a project, you know, for to have fun with.
Well, you know, bring your problems, and we will both make fun of you and help you fix them.
Yeah.
Chad, look in the chat. I put a link to my website there.
Okay.
And you can go to the Altair 8800C page, and it shows you all the steps that I did to build it up and to be booting to CPM and stuff like that.
Definitely check that out. Yeah, it's going to be a project, but you know, I mean, I have already a working 8800, you know, but you know, it's every time I turn it on, I'm afraid, and then I have an 8800B, I'm afraid, and then I have a 680, and I'm afraid to, like, you know, so I kind of want to, you know, build one where I could turn it on and actually do, you know, some things to it, you know. So
yeah.
Yeah,
you need that little playground, a little one of those little 9-board. You hear us talk about 9-slot motherboard, a couple simple switching power supply. You know, you can put something together there, and then that you could just throw cards in and play with, and you know, and you know, kind of just test around. You don't worry about it so much.
Yeah, for everyday use, most of us use our 8800C clones because it's all new hardware. And so nothing's going to blow up on you just because it's 40 years old and it's done. It's going to blow up on you for other reasons, but that's because, you know, we also tend to wield soldering irons and put these things together ourselves. That doesn't always go well.
I recently turned on my Heath. I have a Heathkit H8, and I recently turned that on. And some smokes, I turned that off. But you know, it's a part of like learning for me. I didn't, you know, I should take out the boards and learn that stuff. And
you most likely, it's what is it, REFA, I believe, is the capacitors. They tend to blow, and they put out a lot of smoke. But most of the time you can track it down, and I'm sure that they have schematics, and you're just swapping in a new capacitor. You know, most of the time it's it.
I had a diode explode on one of my my CompuPro serial cards.
I had a chip burn through on an old serial card on a TRS-80. Turned it on, and next thing smoke, and think, whoa! And my brother guessed that, he says maybe it was in a damp location before I got it, and the chips will absorb moisture, and I don't know. So that was.
I have one of those too, and I'm afraid to turn that thing on.
There is a site that sells like capacitor rebuild kits, like a little bag for like $15 for all the capacitors and REFA, everything you need for them.
That would be a good link for the chat.
I'll have to go look. I'll have to go look for them. You know. So,
hey, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, you guys, I use my Altair 8800C and my Altair and my IMSAI-JAIR all every day. I don't turn them off. They're on 24/7. I'm always working on them. I don't use the Sims or the clones. I use the real machines.
Nice.
I use the sim for programming and stuff. I still playing around with my monitor, realizing the Jomon has a, I'll call it a design. I assumed something when I was first coding it, and I kind of coded myself into a wall. So now I want to make it detect the top of memory and move the stack there so it builds down to the top of RAM. And I didn't realize that when I was coding, I used some spots to store variables, and all based on stacks. So if the stack was at this location, which I had hard coded, I subtracted or I added, or, you know, and that you can't do that at this point. It is not working for me. So I'm working on that. You know, revision. I don't know.
It's hard to do what you want to do without a stack.
Yep.
To find the location of your stack without a stack. You can't call. You can't.
No, I can determine the top of memory without a stack. There's examples actually within.
John,
Let's see. Let's see. This is
John's
pulled
monitor
out.
does that. It determines the top of memory
Yeah,
and
this
and
is.
then uses
Let me
that for
turn
the
off.
stack.
If I turn off blurring.
So I looked at Altmon because remember we were talking about
Yeah.
having Altmon do it,
Right.
and I
But
just
yeah.
looked at it really quick. I'm like, oh yeah, he already finds top of RAM,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it
so-
uses
so-
calls and does all this stuff. It's like, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you can't
But
just
yeah.
jump to that and jump back.
Yeah, so you can find the top of memory, and I can set the stack at that point before it's doing it, before I make a first call or anything that we put
Right.
on the stack, and that's what I've been trying to do. But that might be a flaw in my logic. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the book I was just holding up. This is actually a
Hold
copy
it
of
in
it.
the
We'll call
middle.
it that
Hold
way.
it in the center of the screen.
Well,
There you go.
this.
Oh, that's the focus.
It's
That's the focus.
okay. I got it. So
Yeah,
it's
that looks good.
Alan Miller.
Yeah.
And he's essentially you learn assembler language, but by writing a monitor. And
Yeah, I've
so
got
he has
that. I've got that book too. I used it many decades ago.
So here's
I'm
what
at-
I
I'm
use
at
to
the
learn
beginning.
assembly language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Think that's
Use the Intel book.
I've been binding a lot of my own stuff. You know, the Intel book.
Yeah. I found this copy recently on eBay because this is the
Yeah.
assembly book as opposed to the family book that talks about all the chips, which I have as well, which is
You know,
awesome.
This
I
is
think there's a
this is my
user
mouse
guide, too.
pad.
Your mouse pad.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, time was I was programming so much in assembler that I knew all the mnemonics just sort of sat there most of the time.
Yep.
But that's long gone. This time I'm going, what's that? Oh, that's how it works.
So yeah, my recent trip, I took a electronic copy of this book and reread it again. It's like, oh wait, I can do that with my monitor. I can do that, you know. So I got a lot more ideas to go back and play around with my monitor. But
yeah, I'll tell you one monitor feature that is in John's monitor for his Z80 board that I found when I was rebuilding my version of it is an option to scan for I/O ports.
Oh, I have that. I
It's
added that
so
to
cool.
mine.
So it just has a fine, and it reads all 256 potential ports, and anything that's not an FF, it assumes is a real port and gives you back what it is. And it's really great for what the hell did I set that at?
So I wanted to do that, and what I did is I looked for that the survey program that actually tells you one of the things. I grabbed that little section, kind of decoded it, squished it down small so it would fit in the monitor. Yeah, it works great. I was very proud of that, figuring that out. So yeah, that's a cool feature.
Yeah, when I worked on my version of John's, it's all written in Z80, not 8080.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd actually written in Z80 instead of 8080 with all the different mnemonics and the extra instructions. And that was a rough ride at first, trying to remember. And I'd go look at code that I had written before and then have to translate it from some of my old stuff.
Yeah. I haven't done any of the Z. I mean, I have books on it, but I haven't really gotten into it yet.
Don't stick to one or the other, otherwise it'll drive you nuts.
Well, I know 8080 will run. It'll run on both most of the time, so I've been kind of going that way.
And your standard CPM assembler only reads 8080. It doesn't understand Z80 anyway.
I thought there was only 4 instructions different in Z80.
No, there's a lot more.
A lot more than that, and all the mnemonics were changed as well. So
yeah, the mnemonics.
Those things.
The demonics? No.
The mnemonics are different, and there's a lot of multi-byte instructions that are not, Z80 has a whole lot of multi-byte and 2-byte instructions that the 8080 doesn't have. I was doing a lot of both at one time. I was very involved in packet radio, and we had some of the boards were the original Vancouver board ran an 8085, I think it was, and then the Tapper TNC2 was running a Z80, and I had designed a couple boards that also used a Z80, and it was fun going back and forth between the different mnemonic families, I should say.
Yeah, that drove me nuts when I was first doing that. I've gone back to 8080. I'm done with the trying to learn. Yeah, I have trouble with one language. 2 is too many. Yeah. Anyway. And now I've got Claude doing my assembly for me.
There you are.
It's so convenient. You say, write this little program, and you look at it, you go, that looks good. Give me a hex file, and you just hex load it onto your system and try it.
For those of you that are doing machine language, this is a great thing I found back in the 70s. It's it's plastic, and it's got, fold over.
Right.
There's the 8080 instruction set.
Oh, wow.
Here's
that'd be handy.
I bet you
all the instructions with showing what flags are affected.
So how do we get that reprinted in plastic? Because if you try and buy a used one on eBay, it's probably going to cost you more than that modem board I posted earlier.
Yeah, and here's a description. I mean,
oh, that would be so valuable. I would kill one of those.
This was my most important thing.
What's the?
Is there a name or publisher or something we can kind of search on?
Yeah, right.
I added the S100 on the inside, and then what's this? Oh, this is hex, decimal, octal conversion.
Oh, that's so useful.
Yeah.
8085 instruction set.
Because it's extended a little bit as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wrote that and who publishes that?
Oh, this is from the 70s.
Yeah, but they still exist.
Yeah, and I'm sure if Walt asks them nicely, they'll print 10 copies for us.
Well, no, I'm just saying as the books still exist, we just have to be able to hunt them down.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a book, it's a little flip, but it says copyright 1976, Urban, URBAN, Millen, Millen.
Urban E. Millen. That's not in focus, but okay.
Yeah, this iPad I can only get.
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of it?
8080 reference guide.
Everybody's typing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody wants to beat each other to one that's still for sale.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a reference to, okay, so Urban, URBAN Millen, Millen.
Yes.
Yeah, it says
Mullen.
Ah, there you are. Mullen. Sorry, that bit of Millen.
Yeah,
That's probably why
it's got instruction set summary. Now this is the 80.
There it is. So
don't tell me it's still in print.
no, not yet.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's what you need.
What's that?
To order more.
Oh, there you are. $12.
$12.95. That's a decent.
Yes,
wait a minute. $12.95 in the 70s. What's that going to be?
Add a few zeros.
Add a few zeros.
But there's the address. If somebody wants to take let's see, where is it? Sherman Oaks, Urban Instruments. Urban Instruments, something or other.
Cody Road, Sherman Oaks, California.
It's even got the zip code.
Yeah. Something tells me he's probably not still there.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it was $16.95. And they marked it down to $12.95.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
so yeah, this is
not really find any hits. That's interesting.
This has saved my life so many times. People could probably reproduce it.
I was thinking that we could scan it and probably reproduce it. If you scanned all the pages, then you could probably get it reprinted.
Is there an ISBN number on it?
Something tells me ISBN might be a bit of a stretch for a music shop.
Yeah, let me look. I also
I found a scanned copy of it.
Oh yeah,
Oh, cool.
there's lots of PDFs of it online.
Right. Yeah, I found a PDF.
Well, post one of them because I haven't found anything. I'm running slow
Give me a
today.
second here.
Please.
Let's put it there.
Yeah,
That's
I don't see an ISBN number anywhere.
Yeah, there's a PDF version if anybody wants to look at it. It's not the greatest, but yeah.
Yeah, if there's an ISBN number.
Oh, I see. I see what they did. They put all the pages
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Oh, here's a
Is that
Here's
is that
phone.
the same one?
It's not the same one. No,
No, that's the Intel.
that's the Intel version.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Intel
Okay.
version.
So
Okay.
Walt, you said you found a PDF of it? Because I haven't found a PDF yet.
Yeah,
The one you
I
found,
just saw
yeah,
the PDF links.
Yeah, I found the Intel version. Okay, I didn't realize that until I started looking closer. So that's basically a reprint from Intel.
here's a phone number.
There you go. Yep, 210.
what's your
213.
213.
Oh, it's 213. Oh,
That's LA area. If I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah. Well, Sherman Oaks is LA. Yeah.
Well, somebody
Yeah.
do a search on the numbers, see if they're still in business. That'd be great.
I don't see an ISBN number anywhere, but heck, if you got the Intel one.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really, really nice is I found I got a whole bunch of these plastic 8.5 by 11 plastic cards for like C++, Z80 assembler, Z80, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know if you've seen those.
Let's see here.
Hey guys, I gotta hop off.
Yeah, I do pretty quickly as well here. So,
I've got these, which are
yeah. Oh, I remember those.
Those are helpful too.
I remember those things. You'd find them at the bookstores. Yes.
C language.
Cheat
Here you
sheet.
go. Here's one for you.
There you go.
There you are. Let's see what it's.
You
And
guys
almost,
meeting up next week?
almost
8086 and 8088. Oh, learning 8088 assembler on the PC. That was a fun adventure.
I know. I see
Yeah.
Chad posted a few things. What did you do there, bud? Byte Magazine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Demonic summary, quick reference. 1295. Yeah, that sounds like the right one.
Yeah.
Nice if we can find a PDF or something. But
Yeah.
of course, somebody has an original around. So
Who could scan it and have it printed for us?
He
Yeah.
just has to go to Staples, get it scanned or something if it doesn't have a
Scanned,
scanner,
printed, and laminated.
and then ask us to pay him for it,
Yeah.
which is perfectly acceptable. Yeah, they can laminate it and everything. Yeah, get it right in the plastic.
It's kind of what I
15.
was thinking with the one I found was, okay, I've got the front and the back is 2 pages, print that double-sided and laminate it. It might
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Not a bad
Anyway,
idea.
yeah, I'm with Patrick though. I gotta bug out here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I will see you guys all next week.
Yeah, I'll be here
Yeah,
next week.
sounds
Awesome.
excellent, Chad. Glad to hear it.
I might call the phone number tomorrow and see if they're still around.
Yeah, ask him
Yeah.
how much for 10 copies. Yeah.
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 I was gonna mail this in, but I thought I'd call you first.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you have it in stock.
I
Can
mean,
mail it in. That'd be-
20 years ago, they were still making the case for the 680B, weren't they? So I mean, you never know.
There's a guy making cases
Yeah.
for Altairs and working on a repo case for the 680B now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Because we all run his Altair clone cases. Well, most of us.
Yeah.
They're
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can build your Altair C for just for dollars and a little bit of soldering these days.
I'm
Not
down.
even much soldering.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay,
See you all
guys.
next week, guys.
All right, see you guys.
Everyone have a
Yep.
great week, guys.
Okay.
Bye.